Well, first of all, thanks, Beth. I mean, well, the way she described me, I'm like, who is this guy that she's talking about? So, thank you, and good evening, everybody. So I'm Dr. Brian Humphrey. I am a clinical psychologist, I guess soon to be prescribing clinical psychologist.
Yes.
And really just wanted to, I guess, share with you guys some of my experiences through the training and some of the reasons why I got really personally into this entire movement and overall the field. So I very much so come from very humble beginnings, and I'm not at all ashamed of that because that's what made me who I am. I've definitely encountered mental health in all of its various forms, both within the community, but also just within the larger systemic uh, governmental components of like poor resources, poor access, et cetera. So growing up, I did not see anybody like me, and yet I knew that there was a need. So I was trying to reconcile as a kid. How can I fit that need? Because that's what my mother always taught me. You know, how can you serve? What can you do? How can you do God's work? And so I decided at the age of 6, believe it or not, that I was going to be a clinical psychologist. I knew it. My entire career trajectory went that way. I after I and I've encountered a lot of hardships just through academia as a relatively young African American male. Um, really being able to not only have those lived experiences, but have a deeper appreciation for the field and the work that needed to be done. So I, after I got my doctorate at Adler, I went to Adler University, and as Beth has mentioned, the Chicago School of Professional Psychology is where I earned my clinical psychopharmacology. It's actually in that realm of psychopharmacology that's the next wave of my career, and I very much owe that largely to Beth. Quick story. First time I met Beth, I was working as a correctional psychologist, and I knew that I was on my way about to leave and come to, I think it was Lawndale Christian Health Center. So my entire career has been in underserved areas, Black and Brown, BIPOC, really, in the communities that most people just don't want to go. So I was at Lawndale Christian Health Center, home in, of course, County Hospital, and within County was an Inglewood Health Center, Austin Health Center, which I am from Austin, so I have a very dear and near heart to the community. And as I was my last week, I was doing my rounds with some of my clients, some of the justice served individuals that I encountered, and I remember I walked and there was a guy. He was just looking at me, just staring like a really piercing stare. And I said, "Okay, what's about to get ready to go down? What's about to happen?" So he just kept staring, and I came up to him and I said, "Everything okay? How can I, like what's going on? How can I help you?" And he said, "Wow, wow." And I said, "Wow, what?" Like kind of looking behind me, like what's going on? And he said, "This sounds crazy, but I grew up. Everything I've seen, everything I've heard, I've never seen a Black professional, even in corrections. There was not a correctional officer who really had an authentic heart and cared." And he said, "I just never thought that that was at all possible. You read about it, you hear about it, but to see it, wow." Um, and so that really kind of launched my meeting Beth because it really let me know that there was a need, there was a shortage in psychiatry, even in the prison. And I actually met Beth at the one of the conferences that we had had. She was doing a speech on prescription authority, and I said, "Okay, okay, Beth's onto some good ideas." But I had to go. My daughter was not feeling well, and so I had to leave. We're in Springfield, and after I, you know, left down, I kind of crawled down the stairs, crept up to Beth, and was just like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, but I'm Brian, and I would love to be able to keep in touch with you. And what can I do in order to help with the movement? Because there's a need." So after I went to the Chicago School of Professional Psychology to continue to meet that need of prescription authority. I really had an opportunity to work with some of the most amazing individuals throughout my entire career. I've learned so much. I've changed forever because of a lot of those experiences. And my prescribing collaborator, for example, he's amazing. Dr. Luis Orsario. He is very much so a huge advocate. There was no mental health services at the Amita location where I was doing a lot of my rotation, and they begged and begged and begged me to kind of stay and do what I could because a lot of the individuals that were there just didn't have access to even psychologists, let alone psychologists of color. So it ended up being an excellent experience. I learned a great deal, lots of things on the horizon and in the future I'm looking forward to. Most importantly, I have a servant heart, so I'm really looking forward to being able to get back into the community, to be able to really change the landscape of how things look, and also to really just continue to appreciate the field of psychology and the direction that it is going. I very much so think that the field of psychology is heading in the right direction. It's filling a need, and it is something that is germane to who I am, and again, the values that my mother instilled within me and that I embodied. And so I'm looking forward to continuing research. I'm interested in research in precision medicine, so pharmacogenomics, really looking at how can I help to reduce the barriers to care that oftentimes come from individuals who look like me. There was a lady that I work with at County Hospital. She had been going for years. She had a psychosis, would not take the medicine. She said, I do not trust these, I do not trust them. And I said, respectfully and understandably so. I met with her a few times. She was doing really bad. She was homeless and very paranoid. And after about a few months of meeting with her, I was able to get her to entertain the possibility of what could medication potentially do to really help you. And she said, again, here we go. I'm not going to do any medication. And I said, well, have I ever led you astray so far? Have I not had your back? Have I not advocated and fought for you? Have I not helped you? Do you not trust me? And she said, I do. And she said, because you're Black and because you care, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to do it. And she ended up turning her entire life around. True story. Wound up doing very well, became a pastor, and very much was appreciative of kind of the push in that direction, respectfully, but nonetheless the push. So I'm interested in continuing to be that face, looking forward to being able to also do research, some writing, partnering with different individuals so that we can collectively meet the need, because even though we talk about psychiatry, there's still a lot of mental health needs across the country that, and specifically Chicago, that, I think that we can meet if we work together and we continue to collaborate together. So again, I'm honored that Beth has been with me through this entire journey. So many people I see in the room who have been a marvelous part of that journey. Could not have done it without you. Truly, it takes a village. And with Beth's direction, guidance, mentorship, and push, I very much so am here. So thank you, Beth. One last thing, I do apologize, but Gerard has definitely led by a great example of experiencing the beauty of marriage. Congratulations. And also pointing out truly his North Star. How remiss of me. My wife, Shalisa, is in the back. She is my North Star. She's the most beautiful woman in this room. And I love her dearly, and I could not have done it. There were plenty of nights that I didn't want to, and I thank her for having that faith in me and being patient with me and pushing me.
Brings me to tears. Thank you so much.